This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good evening, Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for December 2, 2022. And in the news this evening, 90-year-old bedridden woman killed in St. James fire. Family members were left grief-stricken after 90-year-old Ida White died in a house fire at Gopies Lane in Salt Spring, St. James Friday morning. She had been confined to bed because of illness. Firefighters who were doing cooling down operations at the house found her body in the destroyed wooden structure. The firefighters say they got a call about 8:55 a.m. and responded with 2 units. However, it was too late to save White or the home. Upon arrival, we would have been met by the police team from Montego Hills Police Station that was already on the scene. They made it known to us that when they got to the location, the entire structure was already engulfed in flames. They were later told by the caretaker for Miss Ida White, approximately 90 years old, that she is in the building, said Acting Superintendent Everett Montague. Montague said the police were alerted after White's body was found in the western section of the building. Her granddaughter Colette Kerr is among those stunned by the news of her death. "Boy, me can't feel good. And me one granny live, she alone live. Me love her like that," said the Kokoya. She told the news as she pointed to her bruised head. She said her grandmother lived alone in a yard shared by the family, and they often checked on her as they knew she was unable to care for herself. "We visit her, the house them very close. At least 3 times a day we visit her, as we know she gone back to baby stage. We not left her out," Kerr said. The damage has been estimated at $2 million. Investigations into the cause of the fire are ongoing. Police manhunt for boyfriend of woman found dead in shallow grave. A police manhunt is on for the boyfriend of the woman whose decomposing body was discovered in a shallow grave in Mount Airy, Westmoreland this morning. She has since been identified as 38-year-old Karen Williams, a farmer also of Mount Airy. It is reported that Williams was last seen alive at her home on Wednesday morning. It is reported that on Wednesday night, she and her boyfriend had an altercation and that screams were reportedly heard coming from inside her house. Williams was not seen or heard from until her body was discovered in a shallow grave near her house this morning. Her throat was slashed and it was reported that her private area had marks of violence. Her boyfriend, who managed to elude the police, is now on the run. Online portal launched for motorists to pay traffic tickets. The state has made it easier for motorists to inquire about and pay their outstanding tickets with the launch of an online portal. Justice Minister Delroy Chuck made the announcement at the commissioning of 40 Justices of the Peace in St. Anne on Thursday, stressing that there are more than 1 million outstanding traffic tickets. Mr. Chuck said hundreds of motorists have violated the road code and are yet to pay the fines. Minister Chuck said the motorists will be able to access the portal on December 8th.
And what I can tell you is that we have now mapped out every single unpaid traffic ticket, and that matrix, that information is going to be on a website that anyone who has ever had a ticket can look if you have not paid it and see that your name and the date and the time that you violated, because if you don't pay it, there will be consequence. And let me make it very plain that we have over 1 million tickets that we will be pursuing. You have over 2,000 drivers with over 100 tickets. Over 2,000 with over 100 tickets. Nearly 500 with close to 500 tickets each. And these are the people who tell you that they want time to pay. These are people who are collecting, as I've said repeatedly, collecting traffic tickets like confetti. And when they get it, they never knew they were going to pay. That time will catch up on them. We have a problem in the courts. 70% of cases that are filed in the courts represent traffic tickets. 70% of filings. The courts was never meant to be a collection agency. We would be interfering with the rule of law and the court system. It's a matter for the court. But what I can say and urge every single one, the Chief Justice has asked for help, and the Ministry of Justice with other ministries will be giving him assistance so he can have night courts. He can have courts on Saturday, and the payments must be made. So I send a signal via the media, all persons who have outstanding tickets, go and pay them quickly.
Pre-charge detention violates citizens' rights, says Samuels. Attorney Bert Samuels is suggesting that the proposal for the introduction of pre-charge detention in Jamaica violates the rights of citizens and will lead to many claims of false imprisonment. Mr. Samuels says a person in this position is worse off than someone who has been charged, as they would not be able to ask to be taken before a judge for a determination on their release or further detention.
The pre-charge detention means that you cannot go before a judge, ask to go before a judge, for the judge to inquire why you're being held and you're not charged for any offense. And the Constitution does not contemplate a person being taken into custody to facilitate investigations. The investigations must take place and then you lay a charge. You can't put that cart before the horse. There's going to be a huge collision with your rights. And therefore, it is the same criticism that we have of states of emergency. On the side of detection, we are way behind. On the side of detention, that's what we want to do. We want to take people and call them violence producers. I don't like that phrase. The Constitution sees them as innocent until proven guilty. So you can't be calling a citizen a violence producer when the Constitution, on the other hand, is saying this person is innocent until they're proven guilty. I know the crime rate is high, and I know that we're trying for political reasons to make the public think that we're doing something. But when we alienate the police, when we make families dislike the police who detain their sons for inordinately long time, what we get is a divide between law enforcement and the citizenry. And the result of that is, in that formula, heightened crime rate.
No more careless gun threats, warns Malahoo Fort. Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs Marlene Malahoo Fort on Thursday sounded a warning to thugs who threaten or intimidate persons by claiming to have a gun, noting that the new firearms law makes a provision for them to be prosecuted. She made a reference to Section 18 of the new firearms law that speaks to persons seeking unlawful benefit by professing to have a firearm or access to a firearm. In many communities, you will have the criminals who walk about telling the citizens that they must comply because they have a firearm in their waist and all kind of things, she said. I want to say to those who think that it is business as usual, those days are fast disappearing. Every law that is coming out of the parliament is well thought out. Marlene Malahoo Fort made the comment as she addressed the Jamaica Constabulary Force investigators at a two-day police conference to sensitize members of the JCF on the new Firearms Prohibition Restriction and Regulation Act 2022. The conference is being held at the National Police College of Jamaica in Twickenham Park, St. Catherine. The minister also lamented unfortunate comments made at times about prosecutors and investigators in the nation's courts, which serve to demoralize them. Malahoo Fort, who once presided as a judge, said that although she was no longer on the bench, she pays keen attention to matters before the courts. I find it unfortunate sometimes when I hear comments coming out of the court on the conduct of the prosecutors, on the conduct of the investigators, because while I understand that there is a standard, it has to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. Comments should not demoralize the force, she said. It is my hope that going forward, whatever the issues that exist in the presentation of cases, whatever the concerns that are raised, that they are raised in a way that does not embolden criminals or demoralize the force, she added. Commenting on the legislation, which carries a minimum sentence of 15 years for illegal possession of firearm and ammunition, Malahoo Fort said that when the law was being crafted, claims had been made about the mandatory sentencing provision being unconstitutional. Everything that the government is trying to do to deal with the high crime rate is tagged by some as unconstitutional, she said. The minister said that many Jamaicans who understand the problem being faced by illegal firearms are happy for the stiff sentences for this crime. However, Malahoo Fort cautioned that heavy sentences can only be handed down by the courts after a proper investigation which results in a conviction. And we do know that you don't get to sentence without successful prosecution, and you don't get to successful prosecution without cogent evidence to prove guilt beyond reasonable doubt, the minister added. She stressed that compelling evidence cannot be adduced without a proper investigation. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.